It's sort of that's missing. Even when my trainers do the didactic and they do review facial anatomy, it's not enough for them to me to employ someone and say, here's a needle.
Welcome in. You're listening to Medical Spa Insider, presented by the American Med Spa Association. We are happy to have you with us. This week, AmSpa founder Alex Thiersch sits down with Tracy Olson to learn more about her mission behind the Aesthetic Injector Academy and the importance of creating standards for training and preparation. And if you want to maintain the highest standards for your practice and aesthetics career, check out our membership benefits at americanmedspa.org.
All right, everybody, welcome to the program. This is Alex Thiersch, and welcome to Medical Spa Insider. And I'm very happy to finally have on the program Tracy Olson, who and we have to be careful now. And I'm going to let you do your own intro, Tracy, because your company name is often pronounced and shortened to AIA, which is the same initials as our company name, Academy for Injection Anatomy. So what I would rather do today is to have you called by the full name so we don't get any confusion. But Tracy has been in the industry for a long time, just back from MSS, as we are the newly minted grandmother as well, which is very exciting. Yeah. Congratulations on that. And also a big shout out to her and her whole team for working around all of my shenanigans. We've been trying to get this podcast scheduled for, I think, a couple of years now, it seems like, and I've been rescheduling over and over again. So first of all, welcome to the program. If you don't mind just giving everybody a quick little update on your background, who you are, where you're from, you know, all the things that we need to know that are fit to print.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be part of this program, and I big fan of your podcast. So this is a lot of fun for me. I'm Tracy Olson. I own Youthopia Med Spa in the North Atlanta area. It's called Alpharetta, Georgia. Been open since 2007. Back in 2013, I was working for JP Chase, and I thought, I need to get out of this. I was in financial banking, and I thought I needed to make a leap of faith.
And it's such a natural transition from financial banking to med spas, you know?
It's unique to own a med spa and not be a provider. I find that most med spas in this day and age are provider driven and provider owned. So I come at it from a different perspective. And I think that's worked very well for me. To keep the business growing and growing, and where it was in 2013 and 14 compared to now is exponentially changed, similar to how the market has changed. And but I love it. I love Youthopia Med Spa. I have an outstanding team, and I think that the success is there, and our industry is growing to support it, and that was the right move at the time.
Yeah. And Youthopia is, first of all, Alpharetta, Georgia. Where is that? Remind me where that's outside of Atlanta?
It's North Atlanta. It's a suburbs. A lot of the Atlanta docs have moved up to my area. So I used to be the only med spa in about a 10-mile radius.
How's that working out now?
There's 35 med spas within 4 miles of my location.
My Lord. I know Atlanta has blown up with that. That's got to be crazy.
Yeah,
How,
nuts. I mean, you can.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. The delays got me. But so yeah, I think there's so many of them, which it just shows that it's how well you provide the service is always going to lead first, right? And because the industry grew so much, as you know, 5 years ago, it just kind of exploded. I found that, and I was looking to open a second and third location because in my mind, that was the track to go down. And it was about 3 years ago when I was trying to find new injectors for my second location, and all of my Allergan reps, my Galderma reps, MERS reps, any of my partners that I'd worked with over the last 15 years, I'd reach out and say, I need a good injector, and I'd get 5 or 6 resumes, and they were all excellent, seasoned injectors. Well, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, certainly now, that's a different landscape. So I couldn't find qualified skilled injectors, and everybody I was interviewing were getting into the industry, but they had no skill set. They had no training. And I had like an epiphany, like the light went off. And I'm a big proponent of education because, again, I'm not a provider. So I have to know as much as my providers know, if not more, to feel comfortable and trusting of them, I guess. So I thought what we need in this industry is more education, the fundamental basic education. And I mean, it just felt like the absolute right thing to do. So I created Aesthetic Injector Academy,
Yes,
another AIA.
that's right.
um, but with Aesthetic Injector Academy, it's what's unique about it is it's the fundamentals. So it's an online only course. Because what I was finding, Alex, is when people would interview with me and they want to get into the industry, they didn't have a pathway. They needed to be hired and trained on site. They may
Hmm.
or may not have done a weekend workshop. They may or may not have injected 11 units in one side of one face in a model that had no follow up.
Hmm.
And I just felt so bad for them because there's so many medical professionals that go to med school to get into this industry, but the colleges aren't even offering the curriculum
Yeah.
that they need. So when they come out of school, they're ready to, they know facial anatomy or safety protocols. And they know all the rheologies of the different products. So yes, that was it. We went to an AmSpa meeting back in the day, 2017, 18, continued going and getting our education. And that's where I found my partners that helped me launch Aesthetic Injector Academy. Bertadoto,
Yep.
Michael Bird, who
Yep.
is my
The
go-to
man.
guy for all things. Renee Coover worked with me. I think Renee introduced me to Amy Anderson. Amy Anderson introduced me to Christina Noggle and
Yeah.
then to Olivia Solomon. So all those people helped me stay on course and complete really what was it was a giant task.
Yeah.
But we're there now.
So let me first of all, that's congratulations on all that. It's amazing to hear and so needed in the industry. I think the amount, we can never have enough trainers. We can never have enough high quality training. But backing up for a second, so how many locations do you have right now with Youthopia? Did you
So
were
I
able to
just
expand?
kept no, I stayed with the
Okay,
one because
that's
what
what
I
I thought.
didn't anticipate, of Aesthetic Injector Academy was what it took. So I had to write curriculum, I had to edit curriculum. I went back and forth with Bertadoto and all of my consents, and there was so much. And Amy Anderson kept me on task to complete the project, and it took me about 2 years.
Okay, yeah, no, for sure. And I'm curious though, because I have this conversation all the time with folks, and I think it's changed over the years. And since you're coming at it from a different perspective, back pre 2020, because the industry has grown so much, but it's different, right? It's in a different place than it was.
So much.
The desire to expand multiple locations, it's almost like it's like this itch that everyone gets and you have to scratch it. But folks who don't do it, I'm often curious because in many respects it ends up being almost better. How do you feel about it? Any regrets about not doing it? How do you feel about just sticking with one location?
Can I tell you? No. I
That
thought
it's
I had
all
in my
the
mind.
truth here.
I thought in my mind it was a sign of success. I can't just be a $4 million practice in Alpharetta, Georgia. I need Johns Creek. I need to have a few locations. And really, it was a matter of going through one door and spending 3 years trying to make that second location profitable. I even looked at my husband's a financial guru, and we looked at the math on maybe we do two at once and just kind of smaller footprint and or do the door that takes me through creating an educational foundation for our industry because there's no this is my Aesthetic Injector Academy is like a college level curriculum. It is heavy written content with filmed content to back up everything you learn. So I flew in a film crew from California. I flew in Christina Noggle from Lickstein Plastic, now Sela down in Palm Beach. I flew in Olivia Solomon from Nashville to film this content so that their students are being, I'm going straight to my content, sorry.
No, it's
But
all right.
students are reading what they need to know, and then they're having it taught to them in a camera. So my trainer is teaching a student with a model live on filmed camera. Um, so some people, and everybody learns differently. So I thought that's where my heart went. My heart was, what I know this industry needs is good foundational education for their students.
Gotcha.
And then I went at the extra step and got it fully accredited.
Mm-hmm.
So my curriculum has 20, continuing education credits, which is a huge, huge thing. So when I look back now that I have a completed project, which is a lot and a big pat on my back, because that's the opposite of opening another location, but it's still very, very time consuming.
Yeah.
I think I'm good. I think with how the market's changed with private equity coming in, I think having my one location as my statement piece keeps me happy, and I sleep well at night.
Yeah.
I had two
Yeah.
or three locations. I don't know how much sleep I would get.
I know. Now, are you able to meet the demand with your one location? Have you expanded in your, and this, because this is the conversation I have with folks. It's like they fear that they want to keep growing, right? And I think you're in a different spot because you've created a whole nother business that it sounds like it's your passion. It sounds like what you kind of were, maybe you were kind of put here to do in the first place, really. And but putting all that aside, having a $4 million med spa, the way that you really grow is through expansion, obviously multiple clinics, but you can also do it through one, multiple rooms, multiple treatment rooms, adding injectors, things like that. Have you been able to do that, or have you just kind of said, I'm going to stick at the size and I'm good with that?
Well, I'm never happy with. I always am overachieving, right? So
Yeah.
when you start getting into the the nitty gritty of the one location, there's
Yeah.
always, one of the first questions you have to ask yourself is utilization. Am I fully utilized in every treatment room with every employee? And the answer is no. I'm continually improving upon that. And to your point, with everything changing so dramatically from Meta ads and Google ads, and there's metrics like rebooking rates and what do memberships look like? So I'm always improving upon what I currently have. And when I think, okay, now that I've done Aesthetic Injector Academy, I will look to another location. I mean, I'm not going to lie. 6 months ago, I was touring a new building mall up here, that there's an outdoor mall that we had a med spa to go in. And I'm not going to say I won't do a second, but I do know if there's room for me to grow and continue to expand upon the one location. And when I feel like I've got that down, I know in my head it's going to be at least a 2-year turnaround to really be profitable in the second location. Maybe not, but I think realistically, when I'm ready to spend 2 years building that second location fully utilized, then I might make the move.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think what I find impressive, and I think this probably, this is just me. We don't know each other that well. This is just me kind of guessing based upon our talking, is that this comes a lot from your background as, from finance and banking and probably dealing with a lot of folks in business, is that you're able to kind of take a look at where you are and your business and yourself, and really be honest with yourself. And I think that's one thing that a lot of folks have trouble with in this business. They want everything, and they want everything
Yeah.
right now. And it's really difficult. I had that problem. I still have that problem. It's like, you see these opportunities come up and it's like, I got to get it. And the truth is that the opportunities will be there, but you gotta get after what's in front of you, number one. And then number two, a really good opportunity isn't the right opportunity. And so I think it's refreshing to see you're doing that right. Kudos and congratulations on all that. And I want to get into, let you respond to that. And then I want to get into the academy, because I'm fascinated by the curriculum too.
Thank you. So I think you're right. When I talk to other med spa owners, and I'm good friends with many of them that have multiple locations, but when you're being like an owner operator, if you will, not that I'm necessarily an operator, but when I talk to some other people that are on their second or third location and they're trying to do it all, they're dropping the ball. Like they don't know their KPIs, they don't know their rebook rates, they don't know their retention, their utilization. They're not measuring those. And because of the background I brought into the med spa arena and Youthopia Med Spa, I am diligently tracking those things. And that's when you look at the math and not the emotion of it, it gave me pause. Like I might not be ready for location two, which made it easier to move down the path of launching a learning academy for our industry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's easier said than done, but it's so true. And you do have to to me, it's always just you have to get out of your own way, and it's
Yeah.
like knowing, you have to know what you don't know. But the biggest part of knowing what you don't know is just getting out of your own way and trusting what the metrics are showing and trusting what people are telling you too. And that's not so easy.
Yeah, I think the consultation process is really key. Like without Bertadotto, I would have made mistakes throughout my consents and my structure and my workers' comp and my malpractice insurance. There's so much benefit. Kudos to you for AmSpa and the not just the legality of it, but even the consulting. Like when I was first looking to do AIA, I reached out to Terry Ross because I'd seen her present, and I said this might be something you could help me do. But she was otherwise engaged with a similar project. I don't know that it came to fruition, but you have to be really open to being educated and follow the direction of the experts. Like I'm not a lawyer, so I trust Bertadotto to tell me what to do. And I'm not a consultant, but I trusted my Amy Anderson to keep me on track and making sure I'm doing.
She's great, by the way. Good choice, but she's awesome.
You can't do it. You can't do it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need help. You need to follow the guidance, and especially if you're paying for someone's opinion, you should pay attention to it.
Yeah. So, with Aesthetic Injector Academy, what was a lot of people, myself included, have seen the gap that you're talking about. There's a lot of weekend courses. The manufacturers and the injectable companies are training people left and right. But it's, there's not enough qualified, truly qualified injectors. But you focused on kind of the basic entry level. What was it that drew you to that as opposed to more technique level and things like that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I think, it's a point on question because that's what I saw every time I interviewed or every time I did a training. The hands-on training, because I'm again a big proponent for education. I have quarterly trainings for my manufacturers for all of my injectors year round. I've hosted hundreds, right? Maybe not 100. So when someone comes in the door and they talk to my injectors or doing a training, obviously it's driven mostly by the manufacturers, and they want you to test and play with their product so you inject it, and that's great. That's good sales technique. But when you're learning about what they do, the didactic first, and they kind of go over the facial anatomy, but they assume you really know it at this point. If you're holding a needle for a living, you should already have facial anatomy. But where are you getting that facial anatomy training? So, and how often are you reviewing it? So what I found was like when you're in a room and there's 6 women and they're being taught, there's a lot of they're kind of enamored with the trainer. There's a little bit of that, oh, look at her purse. What is she wearing? Her hair is so pretty. I love this product because she loves this product, so I'm going to only inject this product. And I think the fundamental safety protocols, are we looking for VOs? Were you above the arteries? What's your facial anatomy? That was expected to already be known. So again, years ago, we were all in this industry learning, and people who've been injecting 4 or 5 years might look at a hands-on training like that, completely confident and well aware of safety protocols and facial anatomy. But with this huge increase in our industry, there's so many new injectors that don't have that fundamental. They're coming in to do a training and they might not fully, they're getting hired and they're being taught on site, but they're missing the basics. Like, One of the reasons my academy is fully accredited is I'm agnostic to the product. So we don't market Allergan or MERS or any of the other products. It's neuromodulators. And we talk all about the different neuromodulators, what makes them different from each other, why are some FDA approved in areas that others aren't. So it's all the FDA approved uses of neuromodulators. And then the dermal fillers, we do the same. We break down every product that's FDA approved, how it compares to the other products, why some products are allowed to be put in the mid-phase and others not. And you understand the rheology, the G primes of all those different products. So I always look at it like, if you're going to do a hands-on training for $4,000, why not spend the money on getting the whole breadth of content in your mind, so that when you are doing that hands-on training, you're better prepared to really listen to what you're being taught. Because I think you can get a little distracted when you're in a room with 6 women all wanting to, inject.
Yeah.
So I just know that that's missing. Even when my trainers do the didactic and they do review facial anatomy, it's not enough for them to me to employ someone and say, here's a needle, go.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not a lot of places for these new injectors to get the education. And this is online, so they can do it after hours, after they go to the NICU and they worked all day in the ER. They come home, they get the kiddos to bed, and they can have a glass of wine and study, or a cup of coffee and study.
This is first of all, it's purely online, so there's no in-person or hands-on component at all.
No, I looked at doing it, Alex. As a matter of fact, I went through all my malpractice insurance. I got it approved. I got in trainers that would come and do the training. But there's enough of that out there, I think. And I'm not trying to compete with, like you said, it's just flooded. The market's flooded with hands-on training.
Summer is coming, and if you're running a med spa, that means consultations are up, the phone is ringing more, and your team is stretched thin. But how many of those calls are actually getting answered? And how many high-value clients are you sending to voicemail, or worse, to your competitor? If you don't know the answer, it's costing your med spa thousands in revenue and preventing you from scaling. CallRail fixes that. CallRail's AI voice assistant, Voice Assist, answers and qualifies calls the moment they come in, whether you're with a client or out of the office. So you're not missing your next high-value consultation. While Voice Assist is handling those calls, CallRail automatically captures exactly which marketing channel drove those leads. So when summer winds down, you're not guessing what worked. You'll know, and you can scale it. That's why over 225,000 businesses, including top-performing med spas, trust CallRail. Try it free for 14 days. No credit card required at callrail.com/AmSpa. That's callrail.com/AmSpa. No, I don't, again, I think you're right. I mean, and maybe more than that, one of the things that I heard at MSS, we just got back from MSS, and this is coming to a head right now in the industry, is we need that baseline consistency level of training. And you're not going to get that from individual trainers because they all do things differently, right? So what is going to be that? And that's not a knock on anyone. It's the reality. There's as much art to science as the way you inject. But there has to be some baseline level of training. So I think what you're doing is spot on. And it does kind of, it's almost like, it seems like it's like you compared it to a college level course. And that's kind of what it's seeming to me, that this is a way for providers who are already in medicine in some way to be able to get a real solid introduction to becoming an aesthetic injector, get that baseline knowledge of everything, so that they can then take that next step and get some real hands-on training. Is that a fair assessment?
You're singing my song there.
Good. That's awesome.
I mean, I even reached out to, medical schools, and just because it's not really offered anywhere. So I'm trying to get even medical colleges to consider offering my curriculum through their colleges. That's a tough beast, I will tell you. Trying to find a way to market this has been, I thought if I built it, they would come, you know? So trying to get it out there in front of people is more difficult than I thought, but I'm getting there. I'm here. I am on your lovely program. Um, I think that the foundational education is even okay. Look at private equity group. I say private equity. Let's just say multiple locations. If you have 50,
Hmm.
60, 75 locations, you're relying on the one injector to train the new injector, but how did that one injector get trained? Right? And are they only
Hmm.
doing one product line? And are they really understanding facial anatomy and all? So I think it's good foundational content, obviously, for new injectors. They should take this course. It's just if you're going to invest in this career and you're going to be successful in this career, you got to find that fundamental education somewhere because everyone's competing with who's got the best hands-on workshop. And to your point, not knocking them. I use them all the time. I love the techniques that we learn from different providers. Um, but yeah, I think that even with larger groups, it's I don't know. I think it's just good education that needs to be talked about more and kind of like a standard of quality, a quality of care.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt that that standard is missing in this industry.
Mhm.
And again,
Mhm.
it's just the way that the industry has grown up. And I've seen it the minute that I came in. God, I was actually doing some, I don't know if you've ever gotten the dreaded, you're running out of email storage thing on your Outlook. And so I was like, oh, crap. So I had to go back and like, I was deleting emails. But going back like to 2005, 2006, 2007, 8, when I was starting to represent people in medical aesthetics, it kind of got jogged my memory. And even then, when I was first getting into this, I remember thinking at the time, it's interesting that there's this clearly medical field that really doesn't have any guiding principles as far as who can do it, what's the
Yeah.
standards. And now it's going on 20, I mean, it's 20 years later and 30 years later, if you talk about since the true introduction of kind of medical aesthetics back in the day, and we still don't really have it. There's not, they're like you said, the colleges aren't teaching it. We're starting to see them think about it, but they're not, still don't really have that. So it's like at some point that's got to change. It's gotta.
Well, I think I mean, with Aesthetic Injector Academy, I agree. It's so validated. Everyone I share this story with and everyone who learns about it and logs on and takes the class or even views the website and some of the YouTube videos of my videos. It's hard to talk about an online college course, but the videos are really good. They're high quality. Um, I think that it just needs to be, yeah, it just needs to be considered. It needs to be out there. It needs to be accepted. I think that, like for example, I've been going down to Boca for AES, Aesthetic
Mhm.
Extender Symposium,
Yeah.
and have a booth, and all the people come by and they love it. It's just so validated. Like, oh, I need this. Oh, I have a friend who's getting in the industry, or oh my, we just hired 2 new injectors and they need this. So I know that the reality is we definitely need some basic fundamental education, and it can't always be at a studio. So online just felt like a super easy, natural fit. No matter where you are at what time, you can take the course online. And Christy Lennox just invited us to be hosting a workshop down in Boca. So
It's
I'm
awesome.
going to host a workshop and just kind of continue to get the word out because I think once people, it's hard to market and advertise on the whole World Wide Web. I'm trying to be a little more
It
specific in
is.
how I target it to get the.
Well, there's so much out there, right? There's so much out there. There's so much noise. And it's so difficult to separate yourself. And especially now, it's hard to reach everybody. We've noticed that too through AmSpa.
Yeah.
It's just the inject the world of injectors, for lack of a, calling them that. They're so fragmented and spread out. It's like, I don't know. It's very difficult to get to all of them. So I agree.
There's a lot.
It's not going to be.
There's a lot of static. To your point, there's just so much
Yes.
in the airwaves that how where people are getting their information, how they're holding on to that information, and how they find it is just it's crazy. I mean, it's dramatically changed in the last 3 years.
I agree. What was it? You mentioned this took around 2 years for you to create and get this kind of off the ground. What was, looking back on the whole process, what was kind of the hardest part of the whole thing
Ooh, I think
so far?
it's funny because when you go through it, like, there's so much legality to it. I don't think I was ready for how much legality went into this project. Because as you mentioned years ago, there was no real law. And if there was a law, no one was following it. Or if there was a law, no one could find out what compliant meant in our industry. And now it's a little more defined, if you will. So I think the legality of it, getting the right consents for the models, making sure all my content, I feel like for 2 years I redlined content and rewrote, and I had writers. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a medical writer, but I had to review what they were writing and narrow it down and thin it down to make sure that the student wasn't overwhelmed. It's heavy content. It's not
Hmm.
meant to be easy. I've had students go, I can't pass this test. And I'm like, you got to go read the chapter again, because a lot of people think they're
Yeah.
going to read the content, which is a PDF, which they can own it because it's good education. But they watch the videos thinking my quiz is going to be only on watching Olivia Solomon inject or Christina Noggle talk facial anatomy. But the quizzes and the tests are from the written content. But a long story short, I think it was just, running a business, creating a business, scheduling a film crew, flying people in. It was a lot of moving pieces. And I have to credit Allison Crane. She's my operations manager. She's um, my manager at Youthopia, and she's just like an ace in the hole. She kept me organized and she kept moving it along. And I get frustrated, she'd keep me going. So it was a team effort between my consultants and my team.
That's awesome. Well, good for you. Congratulations. What's next with, I mean, you've got the product is done. Um, it's up for, so people can log on and take it and it's all ready to go. What's the
Yes.
process for, how do they find it? How do they get it?
So, Aesthetic Injector Academy, and for your listeners out there, we've created a 20% off code, which, by the way, the pricing is already phenomenally inexpensive for the 20 CEs. So, if you use AmSpa 20, they can get 20% off any of the 4 curriculum. I've kind of divided it up like neuromodulators. So, each curriculum has facial anatomy, safety protocols, and all the fluff. And then one's neuromodulator focused and one's dermal filler focused. And then the 20 CE includes all of it, including some consultative videos and such as that. So we're going to be in Boca down in August for the AES. And I'm just continuing to find people who are willing to share and make it part of a lot of the trainers that train for me when they're launching their training programs, they're going to include this in their training package. So if you're going to spend the money to go do a hands-on workshop, some of those trainers are requiring that you take my curriculum first so that you are ready to and prepared to inject, not try to learn about facial anatomy at the training. So yeah, just gonna keep smiling and keep on driving, and hopefully keep making traction with the Aesthetic Injector Academy and the world out there of
Yeah.
injections.
Yeah. I mean, looking back at working for a big bank, did you ever think you'd be here in
Ooh,
4 years,
no,
5 years, or it's been 10 years, I guess?
it was
Yeah.
like drinking from a fire hose. I was overwhelmed. I had no idea what this industry would bring at me, from personalities to, oh my gosh, capital equipment salespeople to the manufacturers of the
Yes.
products to yeah, all of it. It was quite different. I mean, I don't miss the corporate finance, but this is a lot. It's a crazy ride.
It is. It is. It's a very, I always tell folks that are coming, I don't care what industry you've been in, even if you're in healthcare, it's like, this is a very distinct space. And you have to see it to believe it. It's very
Yeah,
different.
and I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I mean, there's so much like attending your last show in Vegas. It was so fun, Alex. I mean, I don't know if it's just a vibe. I don't know if it's a sense of confidence that I have now that I didn't have in 2017 or 18, but I'm very confident walking up to the booths. The booths are full of information in the exhibitor hall. All the speakers, the panels, I mean, from marketing to Dr. Diane, I was telling you, I loved his keynote speech.
That was awesome.
It's a great show. I learned so much. And everybody I've talked to since the show that was also there, they're going, wasn't that fun? It was just, it's a fun industry.
It is fun.
And I think we're making it, interesting. So I like that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming. I agree. It was, I'm always get so nervous going to every year. I was telling somebody this, I get so nervous going to MSS to the conference. Cause I'm like, we're going to lose that vibe this year, but it's every year. There's that same excitement. It's the people that are there. It's like, folks like you who are excited about the industry, who want to make it better. I think that's part of it, is that you're passionate about making it a better, safer. And there's so many people that are going to be coming into the industry that want to be injectors, that want to be part of it. And how great the industry is. And we've got to set it up for them.
I mean, I get resumes every day, and I'm not in the market to hire right now, but I will always refer them to, good basic education. And I said, if you're going to pursue this path, make sure you get a good, not a counselor, but, seek counsel, right? Listen to what people say, and don't try to have a particular attitude. Just learn as you go and listen, because there's some really compassionate, kind, smart people in this industry that are making it really a better place to work and be. And I'd like to be considered part of that. I mean, I just think education this is something I could offer back to this industry that I love.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's awesome. And congratulations again. It's cool to see.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see more with the Academy. I think it's a great idea. I think we need more of it. I'm happy to see what we can do to promote it further, because I think it's badly needed. I think the time is right too. I think there's a lot of, like I mentioned, there's a big push right now for more standardization. I think, from what we're seeing with legislation and a lot of there's just this screaming need for us to kind of come together as an industry and push back against some of the forces, that whether it's PR or all the other things that are happening. So the time is right. And so I encourage folks to go check it out. And I think it's going to be a hit. I'm happy to help in any way I can.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the nice thing is I'm not competing with anybody. I think I'm the only one in this lane, which is just the fundamentals. And I think, even if you've been injecting and you need those CEs or CMEs that you can't get away for a weekend to attend something, it's an easy way to get some more CMEs if you're already in the industry. But thank you. Thank you so much for having me and learning about Aesthetic Injector Academy.
Awesome. It's aestheticinjectoracademy.com.
Mm-hmm. That's me.
Okay, awesome. And Tracy Olson, appreciate you being here. This was amazing talking to you. I'm sure we'll have to have you back, and we'll catch up with you at another time. But yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to our producer, Madeline Moeller, marketing content coordinator, who organizes the podcast schedule and guests and provides topics and talking points. Audio and video editing, voiceover, graphics, and platform management is provided by myself, Derek Hawk, digital marketing supervisor. Our theme is provided by Maka Music. Thank you for watching or listening to the Medical Spa Insider podcast. Please follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future episodes. Ratings and reviews are greatly appreciated. For more information about the American Med Spa Association, visit americanmedspa.org. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by AmSpa. Views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance in the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. AmSpa provides this podcast as a full service for educational purposes only. This podcast does not constitute legal advice, nor does it establish an attorney-client relationship. Please consult with an attorney on your legal issues. And as always, thank you for listening to the Medical Spa Insider. Remember, compliance is cool.